In this video, I'll show you exactly how to install the Gelmar tilting shoe rack system when working with 16mm melamine. First, we'll take a look at the components included in the system so you understand how everything fits together. Then we'll go through the important cupboard design requirements along with the exact measurements and drilling positions needed for a correct installation. I'll also show you which drill bits and screws to use. By the end of this video, you'll have all the information you need to confidently install the Gelmar tilting shoe rack system in your cupboard project. When you purchase the Gelmar shoe rack components, each bag contains the parts needed to assemble one tilting shoe rack. First, you will find a left frame and a right frame. These are the main structural parts of the shoe rack system. Next, you will find the mounting bushings. These bushings are inserted into the mounting holes in the cupboard frame. You will also receive the pivot bushings. These small plastic bushings fit into the center of the shoe rack into the mounting bushing. They allow the shoe rack to rotate smoothly when opening and closing. Finally, there are the stop blocks. These small components clip into the frame and act as stops. They control how far the shoe rack opens when tilted. With these components, you have everything needed to assemble and install your Gelmar tilting shoe rack system. Okay, I've already cut all my melamine. I've printed out my sketches. I'm going to explain to you all of the dimensions. Design overview. We're working with 16mm melamine for the carcass and the fronts. For the internal dividers, we use 12mm MDF. The carcass is built like a standard cupboard, but there is one important difference. On the inside front edge of the carcass sides, we add an extra 70mm strip. This is where the shoe rack hardware will be mounted. Now here's why this is important. The mounting bushings require a 19mm hole, drilled about 12mm deep, to sit flush. If we only use a single 16mm side panel, there simply isn't enough material to hold a screw long enough to fit the shoe rack securely. By adding the extra strip, we increase the total thickness to 32mm. The carcass must have a minimum depth of 260mm. This ensures enough space for shoes when the rack is closed, especially bulkier footwear like boots. The maximum recommended width is 900mm. Anything wider may cause the system to flex, and the brackets might not support the weight properly when fully loaded. Melamine front gaps and spacing. Correct spacing between the carcass and the melamine fronts is very important. From the bottom of the carcass to the bottom of the first front, leave a minimum gap of 10mm. Between the two fronts, use a 10mm gap for consistency. Along the sides, leave a 3mm gap to ensure proper clearance and alignment throughout the unit. Now let's go through how to calculate the exact positions for the mounting bushings and stop blocks. To understand this clearly, we'll start by working from the melamine fronts, where the measurements are consistent for both the top and bottom units. These lines represent the fronts and the gaps between them, and as you can see, from the bottom of each front, the 19mm bushing is positioned at 115mm and the stop blocks at 293mm. From there, we need to transfer those measurements onto the carcass so we can work from the bottom of the unit. This is where a program like SketchUp can be very useful for confirming your dimensions accurately. But once your reference lines are established, you can simply measure up from the bottom of the carcass and mark your drilling positions. Alternatively, you can use these formulas to calculate the measurements directly without needing to draw the full unit in design software. Don't worry if this feels a bit confusing right now. It will become much clearer as we go through the rest of the video, and you can always come back later to review these sketches and formulas. To calculate the length of your 12mm MDF dividers, simply take the internal measurement of the carcass and subtract 8mm. The widths of the dividers are standard, with the bottom divider at 88mm, the back at 143mm, and the middle divider at 147mm. All right, now that we've covered all the technical details, we can move on to the installation. And that's it. The Gelmar shoe rack system is now fully installed. Thanks for watching, and we hope this video has helped you complete your installation successfully.